I'm Joe Duffy for Picks and Parlays. We're going to take a look at the Tuesday matchup between the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Mets. I'm going to do an in-depth preview, and I'm going to have a free pick before this report is out. Milwaukee, of course, does come to Citi Field with one of the best records in Major League Baseball. They are big favorites for a reason, but the home-road splits of each pitcher say not so fast, and then we've got another factor that's been winning for us all year. Or is the over-under maybe the best bet? We're going to take a look at all that and more. As Brewers starter Kyle Harrison's got a 2.84 overall ERA, but his road splits 5.01 on the road. Meanwhile, Zach Thornton's already faced Milwaukee this year, throwing 6 scoreless innings. The betting market loves Milwaukee and the over, but that's not really all that much out of the ordinary. Before I do go on any further, I do want to ask you a favor. Make sure you bookmark this page, pnp.buzz/JD. You're going to get free picks each and every day from me. And we're also going to bring back the tailgate party this football season, where we're going to give you free betting previews of all the big college and the NFL games. So you certainly want to bookmark pnp.buzz/JD for free picks each and every day and the best premium picks. Why have my picks gotten better than ever? Simply put, I spent hundreds of hours tweaking and essentially training AI, both Claude and ChatGPT, to be a full-time staff of a around-the-clock research assistants, and it's paid off big time. 38 years in the business. This will be my best year ever. This old dog continues to learn new tricks. Now, I already told you again that Kyle Harrison, great overall numbers, but not so much on the road, as the weather does not look like it's going to be a factor. Motivational factor you would think would favor Milwaukee. They're battling for the best record in the National League. Meanwhile, the Mets, yet again, a major disappointment, essentially playing out the string. They've got their share of injuries. Bo Bichette is one of the few healthy guys, but teams can pitch around him, so if you can get a prop bet where maybe his over walks per game might be a pretty good bet to take a look at. The Mets falling well below expectations. By the way, Milwaukee does come in rested. They had yesterday off. Keep an eye on Garrett Mitchell as far as injuries. He suffered a right forearm contusion. He was hit by a pitch on Sunday. But again, Milwaukee away from home has not necessarily been all that great. Harrison, especially on the road, ERA of 5.01, 1.45 whip. The opponents are hitting 278 when he pitches on the highway. Their opponents are hitting against him, and he's given up 9 home runs in 41 innings. So he's been a classic Jekyll and Hyde pitcher. Fantastic at home, pretty beatable on the road. Even his strikeout mark is much worse when he gets away from Milwaukee. But again, his overall numbers are pretty darn good. Meanwhile, the Mets, of course, they've got more than their share of injuries. We talked about that. Bo Bichette is really the guy who's their best offensive player. The teams are learning to be able to pitch around him. Citi Field, though, has been a pretty good pitching environment, which is one of the reasons why this number isn't all that high at just 7.5. Now, how about Zach Thornton? He's actually putting up pretty good numbers. He's been a bright spot for the Mets this year. Overall numbers been very good, and at Citi Field, he's been even better. 2.63 ERA, 1.08 whip. Opponents are hitting 224 against him. Now, that's only 4 overall starts, so the sample size is fairly small. And like I said, on one hand, you would say the good news is he's pitched well against Milwaukee this year. But if you're a Brewer backer, you're like, look, they've already taken a look at him. Pitchers usually the first time around the lineup, the advantage is for the pitchers. Now the Brewers have seen him. They know what to expect. There could certainly be some regression here. In fact, he pitched 6 innings and did not give up any earned runs. New York won that game 4-0. Milwaukee, though, does lead the season series. It's pretty early, but at least according to the early numbers at Odds Logic, not surprisingly, The public is going with the favorite. The public likes to bet road favorites in all sports, and they also like to bet the over. But make sure you take a look at the odds logic numbers as they get more statistically significant. We don't really have enough of a sample size that follow this report. Now, by the way, I should say the pick that I'm about to give you in a minute or two, strongly leaning towards making a premium play, but I do follow this report early, kind of in the middle of the night, and all the numbers will come in. We're going to run all of those numbers in the morning, and we're going to see if I'm about to give you a premium pick or not, but it's certainly my strongest lean as far as the early numbers were concerned. There is a big system angle, though, that favors Milwaukee. Away favorites. A total is less than 10, or 10 or less, I should say. Game one of a series. They're playing a crappy opponent, an opponent that's below 500. Outside the division, and with the opponent coming off of an under since 2019, that would favor the road team at 102.9 units, and I think the ROI was around 6 or 7, so not all that bad, as road favorites have historically done well in low-scoring openers after when they're playing losing teams. Now, you can make a strong case for both the over and the under here. We told you about the home-road splits for Harrison, and that would certainly favor the over, but conversely, he's facing a pitcher who's pitched pretty well at home, but Milwaukee's already seen Thornton. So the fact that he's pitched well against Milwaukee, again, small sample size. I think what I say, this is like his 8th start, and now there's a point of diminishing return. Can he maintain those numbers? A lot of pitchers right around this time that have gotten off the good starts wound up getting knocked around a lot. That being said, it's kind of a pitcher's ballpark. Thornton does have a very strong home pitching profile, so if anything, maybe a little bit of a lean towards the over, but that is not my official free pick. Now, the luck factor, you know that's been so good for us. Basically, the luck factor, that was really started by Ken Pom when it came to college basketball. I think Ken Pom's the one who came up with it. And Team Rankings is a really good site as far as taking this to other sports, taking this statistic to other sports. Basically, what we do is it helps us isolate overvalued versus undervalued teams. It takes what a team's straight-up record is and compares it to the advanced numbers. The advanced numbers say this is what a team's record should be based on those numbers. And the theory being that unlucky teams are going to be undervalued because they're not as good as they're better than the record says. And then the lucky teams will be overvalued because they're better than their record says. Well, that says the classic meaning of that. Milwaukee's been quite lucky. They've had 6.66 more wins than the statistics say they should. The Mets, meanwhile, minus 8.5. That's a fairly significant 15.16 factor in favor of the Mets, basically saying the Mets are very undervalued coming into this game. This time of the year, when you get around 15, that is definitely considered pretty darn high. So, my free pick that I'm going to give you is the New York Mets plus the 150. We will play them at 140 or better. And as we said, also the home road splits for the starting pitchers also favor the upset, as well as a lot of under stuff. Just way too good value here, and that luck factor has been so kind to us. That's why I'm having a sensational year. Close to 30 units at 1 unit per play on the plus side when it comes to sides this season. So again, the New York Mets are the free pick. You want free picks like this each and every day, please click on pnp.buzz/JD. Hit the like button. Hit that like right now. That tells me you want free information like this each and every day. Hit that like button. And again, the future is so bright. Gotta wear shades. The biggest upgrade I made 38 years in this business is that we're using AI, like I said, ChatGPT and Claude especially, to extract all the information that's out there for me. Like I said, I honestly, with a straight, look how straight this face is. I can say with a straight face, it's the equivalent of having a well-trained full-time staff now getting data for me. That's why, as successful as I've been, this great 38-year run, it is about to get better. So again, pnp.buzz/JD, bookmark that page.